This episode is like an audiobook, but way more real, because it's about you. If you've ever wondered why you struggle to finish the things you start, you're not alone. And more importantly, it's not your fault. Psychologist and peak performance expert Peter Hollins says there's one life-changing skill most people never fully develop: the ability to follow through. In his book, Finish What You Start, he breaks down the science behind why we often quit and how you can rewire your brain to become a finisher. Think about it. Every unfinished project isn't just a task left undone. It's a lost opportunity, a missed chance to grow, improve, and move closer to the life you actually want. In this video, we're diving into the 4 key elements that make finishing possible, the mindset traps that hold you back, and the tools to finally break free from the cycle of starting and stopping. Segment 1. The 4 pillars of following through. When we talk about finishing what you start, most people immediately think of willpower or motivation, but Peter Hollins says those are just surface level. Real follow-through comes from building a foundation on 4 essential pillars: focus, self-discipline, action, persistence. Let's break them down. 1. Focus. Saying no to the wrong. Yes. Focus isn't just about zoning in during work time. It's about knowing what truly matters and ruthlessly saying no to everything else. Imagine you're writing a book. You'll probably get tempted to start a podcast or freelance for extra cash. But real focus means ignoring those shiny distractions until the book is done. It's not about ignoring opportunities. It's about protecting your priorities. 2. Self-discipline. Making the right choice. The easy choice. Discipline isn't about pushing through misery. It's about setting up systems and routines that make success almost automatic. If you want to work out regularly, don't rely on feeling motivated every morning. Instead, create a routine. Set gym times like appointments, prep your gear the night before, and remove decision fatigue. When your environment supports your goals, discipline becomes less about effort and more about flow. 3. Action. Moving before you're ready. Most people get stuck in planning mode, researching, studying, prepping, but never doing. Want to start a YouTube channel? Then start. Don't wait until you've mastered SEO or bought the perfect gear. Take messy action. Publish that first imperfect video. Why? Because action builds momentum, and momentum makes everything else easier. 4. Persistence. Bending without breaking. Persistence isn't brute force. It's flexibility with commitment. If you're learning a language and flashcards aren't working, don't quit. Try voice chats, immersion, or even watching Netflix with subtitles. Adapt your approach, but keep your goal. True persistence sees roadblocks not as stop signs, but as detours guiding you to a better route. Segment 2. The hidden reasons you keep stopping. Okay, so you've got your 4 pillars: focus, self-discipline, action, and persistence. But here's the twist. Even if you know what to do, you'll still struggle, unless you handle the mental traps that sabotage your follow-through. Peter Hollins splits these traps into 2 main categories: inhibiting tactics, the sneaky ways we set ourselves up to fail without realizing it; psychological barriers, deeper fears and patterns that drain our motivation and confidence. 1. Inhibiting tactics, planning to fail without knowing it. These are the subtle things you do in the name of preparation that actually make success harder. You set goals that are vague or impossible to measure. You try to change your entire life at once. You schedule important work when you're already exhausted or distracted. These feel like smart strategies, but they're just built-in excuses. Why? Because part of your brain is trying to protect you from the emotional risk of failing, so it secretly designs failure-proof plans by making sure you never fully try. 2. Psychological barriers, the inner fears that keep you frozen. These are deeper and more dangerous than the tactics above. Holland lists 5 big ones. Fear of failure. You procrastinate or over-prepare because starting means you might prove you're not good enough. Perfectionism. Nothing you do ever feels finished. You keep tweaking forever and never release. Lack of clear goals. If you don't know what success looks like, you can't tell if you're making progress. Low self-confidence. You don't believe you can finish, so you subconsciously sabotage yourself. Lack of motivation. You feel disconnected from your goals, so everything feels harder than it should. The worst part? These aren't personality flaws. They're just learned habits. And if you can recognize them, you can unlearn them. Coming up next, the mindsets that break you out of this trap and help you finish what matters. Segment 3, the inner upgrade, 4 mindsets that make you a finisher. So, now that you know the 4 pillars and the traps that kill your progress, let's talk about the real difference between those who finish what they start and those who don't. It all comes down to mindset, the mental framework you carry when things get tough. Peter Hollins reveals 4 powerful mindsets that help you push through the dip and get to the finish line. 1. Believe that your efforts are worth it. Not everything you do has to feel magical or meaningful, but when you follow through, even on small stuff, you build trust with yourself. Each time you finish something, your brain says, "I did that. I can be counted on." This self-trust builds momentum, and the more you trust yourself, the easier it becomes to follow through in the future. 2. Get comfortable. Being uncomfortable. Here's the truth. Everything meaningful includes discomfort. Learning a skill, building a business, writing a book, it's all uncomfortable at times. But discomfort doesn't mean something's wrong. It means you're growing. Instead of avoiding that feeling, start expecting it. Let discomfort become your signal that you're on the right path. 3. Understand that real learning only happens when you finish planning, researching, and theorizing are all great, but they're not learning. You don't really know what works until you finish something. Completion gives you perspective. You see what worked, what didn't, and what to change next time. Finishing transforms experience into knowledge. 4. Protect your mental state like it's your power source. Stress, anxiety, and mental overload kill follow-through faster than anything. When you're in a bad headspace, your brain focuses on immediate comfort over long-term goals. That's why managing your mood, sleep, and stress isn't a nice to have. It's essential. The best finishers make mental wellness part of their system, because when your brain is calm, your focus is unstoppable. Next up, how to build sustainable motivation, even when the hype wears off. Segment 4, how to stay motivated when the excitement fades. Here's the big secret. Most people misunderstand motivation. They think it's supposed to be automatic, that if they really cared, they'd feel inspired every day. But that's not how real motivation works. Peter Hollins explains, motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create, and you do that with smart strategies that make doing the work feel good, not just the results. Let's break it down. 1. Make the process enjoyable, aka temptation bundling. Your brain craves short-term pleasure. That's why it's hard to stay focused on long-term goals. But if you can make the work itself enjoyable, you remove the internal fight. Try temptation bundling. Combine something you need to do with something you love. Only watch your favorite show while folding laundry. Only listen to your favorite podcast while exercising. Work on your project in your favorite cafe. This turns the grind into something you actually look forward to. 2. Focus on process, not just results. Outcomes are great, but they're not always under your control. What you can control is your effort and your system. If you fall in love with the process, showing up daily, improving your craft, tracking your progress, then motivation becomes internal. You're no longer waiting for external validation. 3. Connect daily actions to big dreams. Ask yourself, how does this help me become who I want to be? What will I learn by seeing this through? How will today's effort prepare me for bigger wins? These questions reconnect your day-to-day grind with your long-term vision. And when your work feels personally meaningful, motivation becomes automatic. 4. Make progress visible. Long projects can feel like you're getting nowhere, even when you are. That's why you need to see your progress. Track habits. Celebrate small wins. Review your progress weekly. When you can clearly see how far you've come, your brain gets hooked on the momentum. That's how motivation snowballs. So here's what separates finishers from quitters. They build on 4 pillars: focus, self-discipline, action, and persistence. They overcome hidden mental traps and self-sabotage. They adopt powerful mindsets that turn obstacles into fuel. And they master sustainable motivation by enjoying the process and tracking progress. Finishing is a skill, not a talent. And now, you've got the blueprint. So whatever you've been putting off, now's the time to finish it. Let's go. What's one thing you're finally ready to finish? Drop it in the comments.